if you want to start living in Japan, my honest advice is just do it. And I know that might sound a little unhelpful for you right now, but let me explain. So, people often ask me, hey Mel, how is it actually? How is it to establish a life in Japan? Like, how did you get the visa? And how did you find a flat? How did you get like your bank account? And what I realize with people who really want to come to Japan and live here, they make things overcomplicated because they overthink everything. Like I said, like what bank? How do I get a mobile contract? How do I get a phone number? All these things. And I think sometimes it's just a little bit of like an excuse to actually start things. Because of course, if you don't have everything planned in advance, it seems scary. I get it. I really get it. But my honest advice here is actually, if you really want to live in Japan, it's possible. And of course, there are some ways which are a little bit harder and a lot of things which are easier. And if we start with the visa, I think so there is level 1, really easy. Almost everyone gets it. Almost. So there are exceptions. And then there are a little bit harder ways. So start with the hard stuff. If you want to work here and you want to find a job right away, you have to apply a lot. So yeah, I also had like this phase where I applied for a lot of jobs here in Japan, and especially if it's not a side job, you really have to send a lot of details, and they want you to speak Japanese so that they are really sure, like, hey, you want to stay here for long and you're not just coming for the visa. And oh yeah, true, there's actually a much more easier way. So the easiest way, actually, I never thought about it, so marry a Japanese person. Jokes aside, that's just a joke. So yeah, that's a little bit harder when you want to have like a work visa right away. You really have to show them your skills, and most people choose the easier way, and I did it too. So there's either the option of work and travel, and work and travel is fine when you're below the age of 30. But if you're like 31, well, shit happens. That's not working for you anymore. And then there's the question, how do I get the visa? And a lot of people start as students. Yeah, they just go to language schools, and there you can get like a student visa up for 2 years. And it's actually easy to get. Like, you have to fill a lot of documents, it's a lot of paperwork, and you have to give them a lot of details. But after the paperwork is done, it's actually really easy. It's just like applying for it, getting it, and then let's go. Yeah. And you might think, no, that's not that easy. And I heard also like from a few people, and I don't know where this is coming from, like, yeah, but when you're above the age of 30, it's harder to get the visa and you have to give them more documents and stuff. And that's just not true. That is literally not true, because when I was in class, half of my class, or actually 70% of the people I had class with, they're over the age of 30. And if it's that hard, why are there so many people, right? So I think that's just an excuse. So I always be for, hey, just go for it. If you really want it, apply for it, and let's go. So I think once you have your visa, you have the most important point, because you're not illegal in the country. You can work, like if you're a student, you can work up to 28 hours a week. If you're a full-time worker and you have a work visa, yeah, work is unlimited. So not only 40 hours, it can go up to 60. Just joking. I mean, I'm not joking. It's the truth. It depends on the company, but well. And once you have that settled, actually the main thing is already done. So you fly into Japan, and depending on the airport you're landing, you get like a Sairu card issued. So it's a small residence card where all your data is written on. And if you're a student, you also get a stamp that you're allowed to work, usually. And yeah, so that's it. So then there are a few more things left. First of all, finding a flat, finding apartment, finding a house, like accommodation, whatever. I would just say if you really can't find anything online in advance, just go to a hostel or hotel and stay there for a few weeks until you find something. If you are lucky enough and you find something in advance, easy, there you go. And if you're not sure where to go, I would actually recommend share houses. And of course, now people would say, like, oh, I don't want to share a room with people, or I don't want to live, with a lot of people together. There are options. So my share house, for example, I live together with 14 people. I have my own room, but there are also rooms which are shared, so 2 people sleep in it. And you have a shared kitchen, and you have a shared living room, and you also have a shared bathroom, which is, depends if it's your thing or not. I don't mind, because in hostels are way worse, way dirtier, but yeah, if you're a very clean person, I would probably not recommend going in a share house. But besides that, there are also share houses where you have your own whole apartment within a complex, but you have also the opportunity of having a shared living room and a shared kitchen. So you can have both, like your own thing, but also connecting with people. And usually in share house, there are living foreigners and Japanese people, so it's easy to connect. If you really want to search for completely off share house vibes apartment, it can be a little bit more tricky, because a lot of landlords want you to have a Japanese person who says, like, hey, you're a good person, I would pay for you in case, which makes it a little bit hard if you don't know anyone. And if you're just renting a normal apartment where it's not Japanese, where it's foreigner friendly, you usually have to pay a little bit more. So my honest advice here is as well, just live somewhere maybe a little bit more expensive, and then really see if you can get like these traditional Japanese apartments where you pay less, and you just need someone who pays for you in worst case. So rent is also, I had a share house, I booked it in advance, it was really, really easy. And then it gets a little bit more tricky, because then you have to go through bureaucracy. So you have to go to your ward office and just tell them, hey, I'm gonna live there now, so that's me. And you also get your health insurance, and depending on if you're a student, you don't need to pay pension, but if you're a worker, obviously you need to pay pension and all the stuff. So ward office was my personal nightmare. I was so afraid of it, because at that point my Japanese was literally 0 and everything is written in Japanese. I was lucky I could go there with one person of my share house who was Japanese, and he also moved in the same day as I did, so we could go there together. But I also had to do a lot of things by myself, and honestly, it was not as bad as I imagined it. And what else? Same with the bank account. Like, it can be sometimes a little bit tricky, but usually you go to the bank. JP Post is the best and easiest way to get settled in, I'd say. And you get a card, and I think that's all you need. If you want to have this fancy credit card and special cards in general, you really have to look into it. I don't know anything about it, because I just wanted to have a normal card where I can pick up money, and that's it. So, what else? I think visa is the most important thing. Then you handle your address, your accommodation. Then you get your bank account. If you work. If you don't work, then you don't need it, obviously. And it's the same with internet or phone numbers. Like, you need an address to get a phone number. So, at least in my case, it was a thing. But it was literally easy. I went to Big Camera, actually. So there are these big shops, like electronic shops, Big Camera, or Yotsuya. I kind of forgot the name, whatever. And you go there, and I was just talking to someone in very, very broken Japanese, and a lot of help from Google Translate. And then I just got like a normal SIM card. I mean, it was an eSIM, very handy, where I had my phone number, where I could phone, where I had internet, and that's it. And other than that, I think these are the main things which people worry about. Like, oh my gosh, flat, oh my gosh, visa, oh my gosh, bank account. And after that, it's so easy. Like, literally, of course, you have to adapt to the culture here, but if you have been here as a tourist, it will be even easier, I'd say. And I think a lot of people just are afraid of that. And I personally think a lot of people are just afraid to take the step to actually move somewhere else, because of course you need to give up your other life in the other country, right? But I think it's worth it, and overthinking usually does not really help. So my tip from the beginning is just do it. Don't overthink, just do it. Like, the visa is really the most difficult or tricky thing, but as I said, a lot of people start with a student visa. You can extend up to 2 years. You can go to a next university, and a lot of people just change from the student visa to the work visa. So I think this is the most tricky thing to get, the visa, and after that the rest is actually doable, even if you don't speak Japanese. So when people ask me, hey, how easy is it to set up a life in Japan, I actually say, of course it depends. If you're going through a work visa, more difficult than student visa. But in general, if you really want it, just do it. It's worth it, and it's a challenge. It's fun. It's fun if you haven't figured out everything. So you just do step by step, and after a while you realize, hey, easy. So yeah, what do you think? How was your start in Japan if you came here, or if you plan to come here? Let me know. If you have any questions, write it down below in the comments, and see you next week.